turn on one of the tank's lights. And I was wondering, is it a tank? Is it something else? I didn't really know. The lights are really strong, like the lights now. What I decided to slow down. And then in the loudspeaker, they said, stop, it's deadly force and gonna be used. I heard that, and I understand the English, so I was just like, stop right away. And the other car, he didn't understand, and he went right through them. All what I heard them shoot him. They shot him, and I felt like I killed him. I put him in front of me. That should have me. Should have been me. So then I saw them. I stopped there, watching them freeze. I'm just a freeze there, and I saw them drag him out of the car and opening the car. There was like a kind of piece of fabric over the car, and they remove it, and it's just vegetables. It was lettuce, lots of lettuce. And I wondered to myself, wow, you could be killed for transferring lettuce in this country. And when it happened that, because I was working with Dar actually, he is the last person that I worked with him there. My friend was killed in my car because he thought he's me. So I decided that that's going to be my last day in Iraq. Now let's talk a little bit about, let's leave all this tragic stuff and go to what will happen. Who are the Iraqis? I'm going to prove you today that Iraqis actually exist. And the Iraqis are a human being. I don't know how many of you have seen Iraqis except the soldiers. But actually, Iraqis are human beings. They are like you. They have families. They have people. And actually, they have families more than you, actually. My family is 5 brothers and 5 sisters. We are 11. I stopped counting how many nieces and nephews that I have. I have, I think, 53. And all of them from one mother and one father. So for that, and if we want to talk a little bit about the sectarian violence, I think whatever the person that he broke the mic, I think he's very smart. Because what happened that Wa'id, he's Sunni, and I'm Shia, and he put Dar in the middle, the American guy. And I think that is a solution. What we do, we keep them in there. The Sunni try to shoot the Shia, and they will shoot the Americans because they're in the middle. The Shia try to shoot the Sunnis, they're shooting the Americans. The Americans in the middle. And the way they're going to fix it, it's by they shoot both sides. That's the way they're going to solve it. So they are saying that if they leave, we can't rebuild our country. Let's take just a survey of the people how many Iraqis that you know, they are engineers. Actually, all the Iraqis that you know, they are engineers, me and Raed. He's a civilian engineer and a computer engineer. And the crossways that I know Raed from, he was trying to make smaller projects, and he will go to like a bump in the street, and he will get all these friends of ours, and he will try to fix it, and he get a small budget for it, and then he tried to do another one, and his project failed because there's no budget. There is no budget to fix the Americans can't give him $1 million to do it. So imagine that I called my family, and I said, I'm really missing you. I have been here for about 2.5 years. And what do you think? Is it time to come back? And they said, what you are coming back for? The same curb that was damaged when the Americans entered Iraq, it's still broken. The same hospital that was bombed is still bombed. What are you going to come to do? What are you going to come open a shop, open a computer company? Okay, how are you going to go to the company? So I'm just transferring you how the discussion that my family will have with me if I want to, when I'm saying I want to go back to just to visit. So imagining with all of this situation, I went outside yesterday. I was really interested about the people. They are pro-war people. I never saw pro-war people before because I live in Berkeley. I was really interested. I went out to them and I wanted to talk to them. I asked them a question. What do you think we should do?
Humans like us too?
I have no idea. They said, I asked them a question about what we should do in Iraq. They said we should stay in Iraq. And I said, but the word stay, as my bad English is, means that you are there and you stay. What about you are going to Iraq? I will buy you a ticket. You go to enjoy your time in Iraq. If you think it's great, just go there, stay there. I will assure you that my house that I left there, in the area that the Americans have a base right next to it, across the street, literally. They have 10 snipers just pointing at the houses there. I will give him the house to go stay there. So when people saying, I would love people to say their opinion when they know what they are talking about. I would love it. I really respect those soldiers that are the ones that they don't want to go there again. And they went out of the military after they notice what they are doing and what they should do. And I really think they are heroes. And I don't think that the ones that are sitting there and they are, put it in the fact. I have a son, and I really believe in something, really believe in it. And I have the choice. Should my son get hurt, or I disbelieve in something? I will forget it. My son is more important. So I'm seeing these people, these soldiers there, I met them there, I met them here. And I really respect that these soldiers are the same ones that they were there. They could have, if I met them there, I have a conversation with one of the soldiers yesterday. I have actually a conversation with many of them, and I really enjoyed it. And I wish that I met them there. But many of them will say, no, you don't want to see us there. Because look at this contact. These guys, they look like me now. And I'm talking to them now as human to human. And if they saw me now there back, if we now both of us, we went back to the same situation, just we know each other, they will never shoot me. They're the same people. So they just realized that I'm a human, just like them, and actually speak the same language. So I think if the language is a problem, today I'm going to teach you all Arabic. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to start teaching you the words that we should learn. First word you should learn is my name. My name is Salam, and it means peace. So this word, you should learn it. And if all the Americans learn this word, I think they will never, ever go to other people and steal their peace. Thank you so much.
So I'd like to take some questions from the speaker slips. From Brian at aliveinbaghdad.org. The question is, what would you say to people, this is for Salam and Gerard, what would you say to people who are concerned that the world only hears the voice of the wealthy or middle class and not the peasants or tribes, et cetera, and I would add the working class?
The word what? That's in Iraq or here?
From Iraqi, the voices of Iraqis, what would you say to people who are concerned that the world only hears the voice of the wealthy Iraqis, middle-class Iraqis, and not the peasant, quote, or, quote, tribe, et cetera, et cetera?
Go first.
You? I told you it's a conspiracy. I wish if the world heard the voices of middle class and rich Iraqis, that would be a good thing, in fact. I mean, the world and the US media and the international media doesn't hear the voice of any Iraqis, rich or middle class or anyone. They hear the voices of Iraqis who say what they want to hear. They hear the voices of Iraqis who say, you know, stay in Iraq indefinitely, and this is a blank check for staying there. Please kill us and stay in our country. And this is the only voice that makes it. So, I mean, that's a very advanced stage. Let's hope we'll be there one day.
And I think about that. I think that since when you become rich, you'll be excluded from being heard. I think this country, it's just the rich people being heard. All America is like this. The rich people, they are the one that talk and see them on the TV all the time, and that's okay. And also, let's just look at what rich means in Iraq. Every Iraqi dinner, I don't know if a lot of you will wonder when she said that I'm getting paid 900,000 Iraqi dinners a month. That's a lot. That's about $70. That's enough to buy 3 chicken in Iraq. So when people are wealthy there, they maybe have like $50,000, and he's like super wealthy. But the poor, they would have like 3 cents a day to spend, 10 cents. So look at this average, and in the middle of this, just I don't know where this accusation came from, but whatever.
So the next question is from George Taylor, Veterans for Peace. Immediate withdrawal of U.S. forces is unlikely. What should the U.S. peace movement do in the meantime? The more years of occupation, however many. Yes. Go ahead.
Can I come closer? This is an excellent question, because in the US, it seems like the US anti-war movement puts a lot of weight on the word immediate, versus the majority of Iraqis put a lot of weight on the word complete. So what Iraqis usually speak about is a negotiated, complete withdrawal. But I've never seen like Iraqis on media or like politicians splitting hairs about when would this withdrawal start, in 3 weeks or 22 days. Usually like this is the discussion that we end up having in the US, is that when would the withdrawal start, but then no one talks about when would it end. Okay, we'll start bringing 5 troops in 2 months. What about the other 300,000? When are they going to get out? So I think it's important to understand the dynamic in Iraq will not change if the occupation ended up being 1/4 of an occupation. It's not like Iraqis will have a meeting and they will be like, okay, now that it's 1/4 of an occupation, let's have 1/4 resistance, 1/4 violence. It won't work that way, right? So it's the violence and the destruction that is happening in Iraq will end once the US withdraws completely. Now, to answer your question, I think the two real options that we have now is not staying there forever versus an immediate withdrawal. The two real options are either a withdrawal, either a complete withdrawal that will be negotiated with Iraqis, where the US can put its terms for withdrawal and take a safe passage, or we will wait until a Vietnam-style withdrawal happens. Evacuation from rooftops happens. These are the things that will happen on the ground for real, because there is no occupation that lasts forever. So we can either end this occupation by negotiating with Iraqi counterparts who are ready to negotiate, whether they were Sunnis or Shiites or Kurds or secular or whatever. They are ready to negotiate to get their country back, to give the US a safe passage out of Iraq. That's the better scenario that we will be asking for, instead of waiting until we reach to a military situation where the US must leave there in 1 day or 2 days or whatever the timetable is.
I think that's just an important question that I want to address, which is, for me personally, I don't know a lot of politics. I'm an engineer. But I know that our life there can't continue with the tanks in front of our houses. You can't live with police, military police, just military people, and all these very heavy weapons that are around your kids. Definitely, I don't really care what's behind, how they will do it, and what's behind it, and what's the deal gonna happen. But I really care that I want the Iraqis and myself, if I'm going back someday, and my family and my friends to have a life. They can just go on the street and have a coffee outside in coffee shop. That's what I want. That's basic. That's basic, something everybody needs. And they can do that now, and they will never be able to do it as long as there is military in the street. So, of course, they have to leave no matter how and no matter when they have to leave. And as soon as possible is better. Thank you.
And our final question, Michael Marcuscio. Do the Iraqi people know that most of the U.S. people want to bring the U.S. troops home and return Iraq to the Iraqi people?
I feel I'm silencing the Dahr, so do you want to like...
I'll take the karma.
Yeah, I think that, like, the majority of Iraqis and Arabs and Muslims still believe and understand that there is a difference between the U.S. foreign policy and between the U.S. public. I mean, I think it needs a lot of patience and courage and understanding so that people, have this type of distinguish between that the majority of Americans are against the war, despite the fact that they are paying taxes for this, or like supposedly they have an elected government. So that's why, like many of my American friends who go to Iraq still get, received by Iraqi families in a hospitable way, and they're not blamed personally for the occupation. I mean, I think that's really good, and I hope we can do something about this occupation before this individual relationship between Americans and Iraqis collapses. And we should always think about the irony of how this administration and media tries to blame Muslims and Arabs for what happened in 9/11. And how some people actually buy that, like all Muslims are terrorist type of things, because Muslims didn't, they didn't vote for Al-Qaeda, they didn't pay taxes for Al-Qaeda, they didn't vote for Al-Qaeda again. So I mean, I really appreciate it when I see like things on the Arab and Muslim media where they still distinguish very clearly that this is the U.S. foreign policy that is led by special interest groups, not by the majority of Americans who don't want to harm other people around the world and want to use their money for their own benefit, to build their own bridges and make their country better.
Can you repeat the question again?
Sure, we'll have Rard answer the question. Do the Iraqi people know that most of the U.S. people want to bring the U.S. troops home and return Iraq to the Iraqi people?
My answer to this question should be I should really...
We only have a few minutes.
All right.
1 minute.
1 minute.
1 minute.
All right. I just want to use this minute really to thank all of you, the ones that come here to listen and come here to learn, and the veterans that are really organizing this, and they're willing to come forward and putting their life in danger and talking about things they have done, and they are giving us more credibility to talk about it again. And I think you are the majority here, Americans, should be thanked, the people that are here and the people that are taking the time to listen on TV and all other outlets, because I know how time here is precious. And you took the time to do that, and that's really a good proof to me and to all Iraqis that's something that you are supporting the Iraqi people. And you are supporting that the majority of America is supporting that all of us should be just the troops of peace. we are people just like you. And what I want to someday to happen, to be able to invite my friends here to Iraq, to my family there, to see them. And what I really wanted to happen, that you to see how generous Iraqi people are. A lot of people there, they will say that it's more important for us to give you food and give you tea when you come to us than talk about the war. And I just want to say one more last thing, that you are people of America. You don't know Iraq enough. But I just want you to look at the faces of these people when you look in the news and see if my family there, when you go there, when we will sit, me and you, at their table, which one they give food first, for you or to me. Thank you so much.